Yeah, good afternoon, guys. So I will give summary what we discussed in the last session. So in the last session, we started OOPS principles, OOPS basics. In the OOPS basics, we discussed about the class and object, and we discussed about types of variables. We discussed about the types of methods, and in that, like there are combinations we discussed, and input a single object as input to the method, multiple objects as input to the method, and a single object return type as the from return type, and multiple objects return type method has to return the multiple objects as the output. These are the things we discussed in the last session. Today we'll go ahead with the constructor. Today we'll go ahead with the constructor. What is the purpose of constructor? Constructor. And whenever you are writing the constructor, what are the rules you should follow? We'll try to understand about the constructor. So first the thing is constructor purpose is which is used to initialize the instance variables. Initialize the instance variables. Initialize the instance variables. Guys, initialization of instance variables. Already you know what does it mean by instance variables. The variables which are declared inside the class and outside the method is called instance variables. But initialization, so if you don't initialize the instance variables, that instance variables initialize with the default values. I will write some fewer points. If you don't initialize the instance variables, then JVM will initialize instance variables with initialize instance variables with the default values. Instance variables with the default values. Okay, if you don't like default values, you want to assign your own values. You want to assign your own values, your own values, your own values. You can assign in two ways. In Java, you can assign in two ways. In Java, you can assign in two ways. In two ways. What are the two ways? First one is at the time of where instance variable declaration, declaration time, declaration time, declaration time, and the second one is through the constructors. Through the constructors. At the time of declaration, meaning normally how the syntax for the constructors is. For example, if I will take the class as the public class demo, and from here to here, this is the scope of the class, and inside like the variables which are declared inside the class and outside the method is called instance variables. Now here I would like to take, for example, int age. Here also you can pass the values. This is the one way to initialize the instance. This is the instance variable. This is the one way to initialize. These values you can initialize. Second way, that is the constructor. Okay. So now we can remember constructors which are used to initialize the instance variables. Initialize the instance variables. Okay, fine, very good. Next up, what are the rules you should follow while writing the constructor? What are the rules? You should follow the rules. So in the method also, whenever we are declaring the method, you have to follow some rules, right? Similarly, constructor also, whenever you are writing the constructor, you have to follow some rules. What are the first rules? Rule number one: class name and constructor name should be the same. Class name and constructor name should be same. Constructor name should be same. This is the rule number one. Class name and constructor name should be the same. This is the rule number one. Okay, in constructor we don't write a written type. Constructor don't have written type. Second rule number is constructor don't have written type. A written type meaning the rule number two, we don't write any written types. We don't write any constructors. I would say any written type. Any written type. Any written type. Any written type. The syntax for the constructor is normal. You can take the public class and the class is the demo, and according to the rules, how you can take the constructor public and class name, and this one should be the same, right? Demo, and then parenthesis, and then you can mention this is the constructor. This is the constructor. I would say this is the syntax for the creating the constructor. Okay, the constructor name and class name should be the same. Only the method, and here the difference for constructor is, if you mention the written type, then it will be treated as the method. If you not mention any written type, then it will be treated as the constructor. Then it will be treated as the constructor. So in Java, constructors are divided into two types. The two types are a default constructor and parameterized constructor. Default constructor and parameterized constructor. Default constructor also called as zero parameterized constructor. Default constructor, and second one is the custom constructor. Custom constructor. This custom constructor also called as user defined constructor. User defined constructor. Okay, fine. Now custom constructor, here actually it is divided into again two types. One is zero parameterized constructor. Zero parameterized constructor, and the second one is parameterized constructor. Second one is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor, that I will show you. The basic purpose of I would say constructor is, which is used to initialize the instance variables, and the same thing I will show you the document as well. You can go ahead with will get the better clarity on it. You can see here constructor main purpose. I hope this is visible for everyone. Yeah. So constructors meaning when we declare the instance variables, and not initialize with any value, then automatically initialize with the default values. Meaning if you not initialize any value, then the JVM it will automatically initialize with default values. If you don't want to initialize the instance variables, and uh, if you don't want initialize instance variables with our own values, We can initialize the instance variables by following two locations. We can initialize instance variables in following two ways. One is at the time of declaration. Declaration meaning we will int age equal to some 22. That is at the time of declaration. And the second one is the constructor. Using constructor, we can initialize the values. We can initialize the values in two ways. First one is at the time of declaration. Second one is the by use the constructor. And next point is constructor is special method in Java. Constructor is special method in Java. Constructor name and class name should be the same. Constructor name and class name should be the same. Next, a constructor cannot take any return type, but if you write any return type, then the code it will be considered as normal method only. Normal method only. And next, we cannot return any value from the constructor. We cannot return any value from the constructor. Next, constructor can take one or multiple parameters. These are the rules you should follow. What are the rules? Constructor name and class name should be the same. Second name, constructor don't have the constructor don't have any return type. Constructor cannot take any return type. But if you write any return type, then it will be treated as normal method only. Then it will be treated as normal method only. Then it will be treated as normal method only. So these are the basic points you should be familiar. You should be points. Okay, we can initialize the instance variables in two locations. One is at the time of declaration, and second one is by using constructor. This is the one way to initialize the constructor. This is the one way to initialize the constructor. Okay, these are the rules you should follow. These are the rules while writing the constructor. Okay, so a default constructor in Java, constructor is said to be a default constructor. It does not have any parameter. Default constructor can be either or user defined provided by the JVM. So if class does not contain any constructor, then during the runtime, the JVM generate a default constructor which is known as system defined constructor. That I will show you. You can see here. Uh, this is the scope of the class from here to here, and where actually this is the scope of class to from here to here. From here to here, this is the scope of the class. From here to here, this is the scope of the node. But there is no constructor. I didn't write any constructor. So here, according to the constructor rules, if you don't write any constructor, then at the runtime, the JVM will provide default constructor default constructor. Okay, how can I find that default constructor? That we have the command, that is java p command. First compile the file, open command, compile the file java c demo dot java. Compile the file and java p command and demo. Now you guys can observe here actually who wrote this one. So in my program, in my file, I did not write this one, but at the time of compilation, one constructor got created. Who wrote this one? That is the point here. So if you write, it won't create. If you don't write, then every program one constructor will be there. So if you write, then JVM don't create. If you not write, then JVM will create default constructor. This is the default constructor. This is a default constructor. How you will find out the default constructor? There we have the command, that is the java c command. Okay. The command is write a program. To find out the command is first compile the file demo.java, and for find out the default constructor, the command is java p demo. This is the command. This is the command which is used to find out the default constructor, which is used to find out the default constructor. Find out the default constructor, which is used to find out the default constructor. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Default constructor was like, okay, clear. And next one is parameterized constructor and zero parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor meaning we'll pass the values. What does it mean by parameters? So in the last session we discussed about the parameters. Parameters meaning parameters are the variables. Parameters are the variables, and which will receive the values, which will receive the values that we can pass to the method to perform some operation, to perform some operation to perform some operation to perform some operations is called parameters. So in Java, the constructors are divided into two types. One is zero parameterized constructor, and the second one is parameterized constructor. Zero parameterized constructor, and the second one is parameterized constructor, and the second one is parameterized constructor. Second one is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. Okay, first we'll go ahead with one by one. I would say zero parameter bar. Normally the syntax should be public class demo, and then from here to here this is the scope of the class, and then here you can take I would say zero parameter. The rules you can public demo, and from here to here this is the scope of the constructor, and then here I will write a program and then I will show you. We'll open IDE and then I think already it is open. I'm going with the project and then create one class. I would like to mention some demo test. This is some simple Java class. Okay, fine. Next up, we are discussing about the constructor, and while writing the constructor, we should follow the rules. What are the rules? So constructor, which is a special method in Java, and to initialize the instance variables and the instant object. And next one is whenever you are writing the constructor don't have the return type, and class name and constructor name should be the same. Okay, I'm taking access specifier and demo test, and I would say from here to here, this is the scope of the constructor. And here I would like to, constructor don't have the any return type. If you mention any return type, then it will be treated as normal method only. And parameters, if you don't pass parameters, then this now it will be act as a default constructor. Now here I would like to take this out statement. Here demo test constructor calling. Okay, let's save this one. Now you can take the main method, and how you can call the constructor. You can call the constructor by using the object creation. How we can create the object new and demo tester. Creating object meaning calling the constructor only. That is also one more point you should remember. You can see here, creating object meaning calling the constructor only. Creating object meaning calling constructor only. Calling constructor only. Calling constructor only. This is a, I would say, zero parameterized constructor is this one. I would say there is no parameter. Then you can pass the parameters also. Like demo test. And I told you like the main purpose of constructor, which is used to initialize the instance variables, right? Then here I would like to take a few of the variables, like I would like to take private int some age and private string name. Okay, these are the two variables. These two variables I need to initialize with the constructor. Then how we can initialize? I'm initializing like this: int a, int b, and I'm taking the values. And then I'm initializing the values. Like this: age equal to a, done. And next name equal to b, done. So it is receiving the values. These values it is assigning to this. Okay, now I am going to that and then create one more object, new demo test, and we can now pass the values. First one is, I would say, 22. Okay, 20. And then second one is I would like to pass some browser. You can save that one. And if you want to print the Raju and Rani age, then you can take the sysout statement, and you can mention age, and the sysout statement you can mention name. Save that one. Now you can run that one. You can see. So how the values are coming. We are initializing the instance variables. This is the one way. To initialize the instance variables. Okay, so here we have the constructor overloading also. Constructor overloading meaning, so the name itself we have the meaning. If the constructor we are passing the multiple parameters, then we can say that is the constructor overload. For example, here if I would like to take here public demo test, and here from here to here this is the scope of the constructor, and here I would like to take Here normally you can take few of the variables like int a, comma int b, comma int c. Like that you can take I would say int c. Okay, you can take the multiple parameters, and then here you can do the calculations also. For example, here private int a, private int b, and private int c. Okay, now here you can do the sum of the calculations like mm, you can take the values, and here you can do some addition or calculation also you can do, like enter sum equal to a plus b plus c, and then here you can take the sysout statement, you can take the sum. Now here you can create one object, new demo test, and here you can give the values. Here you can give the values like 20, some 30, and some 50. Save the one, come back, and then finally you are getting the values. So I repeat one more time. So generally constructors are used to which are used to initialize the instance variables. While writing the constructor, you should follow the rules. What are the rules? Constructor name and class name should be the same, and constructor don't have any method, any return type. If you write any return type for the constructor, then it will be written as the normal method only. Constructor don't return anything, and constructor if you not pass any parameters, then it will be treated as the default constructor. Okay, if you pass any parameters, then we can it will take the values, and then it can perform some operation normally. Okay, and constructors are divided into two types: zero parameterized constructor and parameterized constructor. In the parameterized constructor, there we have one more topic, that is the constructor overloading. Overloading meaning same constructor signature which we will add more parameters. We will add more parameters. It's called constructor overloading. It's called constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. So this is all about constructors, guys. So I will go to the document, and then I will show you. Okay, that is all about constructor. Next, we have the concept, that is the this keyword. This keyword. So what is the purpose of this keyword actually? This keyword. So this keyword which is used to represent the current class object, represents the current class object, the current class object. So generally, so in the last session we we learned like how to create the relation between two classes actually, right? Now you can assume there are two classes. One is the parent class and second one is the child class. And if you want to initialize the instance variables of the current class, then how you can initialize the two classes already in relation? The two classes already in relation. Then how you can initialize the current class instance variables? That you can do by using this keyword. This is the keyword which is used to initialize the current class objects. Current class object. This is the predefined keyword. This keyword is the predefined keyword. This is the keyword. This is the predefined keyword. Predefined keyword. Predefined keyword. Now see, we'll take two classes and then we will make the relation between two classes. Mm, this is clear. And we have the demo class. Demo class is also having some of the mm, okay. So now the demo class is the one class, and demo test is the one class. And here I would like to take the main method, and inside I would like to make the relation between two classes, demo. And you can assume here also have the variables like int, age, and next int some id. Okay, fine. Now create a demo equal to new demo object code created, and demo 1 2 3. Okay, object is created. Now you want to initialize these values. Now how we can initialize that? You can initialize by using this keyword. By using this keyword, these variables you can initialize by using the constructor. And this how we can initialize these values? You can initialize these values by using this keyword. This keyword, for example, normally if I take the method, normally if I take some method or the I would say constructor demo test, then how can I initialize? You can initialize these values by using this keyword, age. This dot age equal to a, and here you can mention int a and comma, next int b, and here you can initialize by using this keyword, this dot id equal to b. Okay, now come here and then create object for demo test, and dt equal to new. Directly you can I would say here you can take a sysout statement, and directly you can mention sys dot age, and Here you can pass the values 20, 30. Direct you can call, then it will export. It will export. So this keyword which is used to initialize the instance variables. Okay, so we'll documentally we'll see few of the points. So in Java, this keyword which is used to refer the current class object of class, and we can refer a member of class. It means we can access any instance variable method by using this keyword. Uh, the main purpose of this keyword to resolve the confusion when we have the same variable name and for instance and local variables. And here you can see you can use this keyword the following purposes. This keyword is used to prefer a current class object, and this is always referred to the object on which method was invoked. Next, this can be used to invoke the current class constructor, and this can be passed as the argument to the any method. You can go here. You can see here these are the instance variables, and we are initializing the instance variables by using this keyword, and then we can print the values. This is all about this keyword. These are the few of the questions or knowledge checking questions. I will share this one also. You can go through that and then you can try to understand. This is all about OOPS basics. In the OOPS basics, what are the topics we covered? OOPS basics. OOPS basics is called part 1. This is the part 1. So in that we discussed about class and object, and we discussed about types of variables. We discussed about types of methods. We discussed about types of constructors, and we discussed about this keyword. We discussed about this keyword. This is all about OOPS part number 1. Next we have the OOPS part 2. In the OOPS part 2 we will discuss about the principles. What are the principles? Encapsulation, next inheritance, and next abstraction, next polymorphism. These are the OOPS. Here we have the access specifiers also. Access specifiers. So if you observe any program of the main method, like we wrote some of the main method, go to the Java class. Now you can see here this is coming from the arrays topic. So this array topic we finished. So this is arrays topic, and this is the methods topic. Void, what does it mean? Void is a keyword. If the method don't want to return anything, then you can mention as the void. And these three words are belong to static method, meaning this is the static method. These three are belong to methods topic. Next we have access specifiers. So once we complete this one, then this is all the topics we completed. arrays we completed, and methods we had completed, and we have the access specifiers. Access specifiers. Access specifiers. So access specifiers are generally access specifiers generally uh, the access specifiers generally which are used to specify the accessibility of our classes, variables, methods. Okay, methods, and then I would say constructors and all. And in Java, there are total four access specifiers are available: public and private, default, and next one is I would say protected. Next one is the protected. These are the access specifiers. So that access specifiers and OOP specifiers will start tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow. So today what you guys will do, what is your assignments is constructors. So three constructors. One is the zero parameterized constructor, and next one is parameterized constructor. Next one is constructor overloading. And next after that, next one is this keyword. These are the four concepts. These are the four concepts. So after that, we have the access specifiers. Access, I can say access specifiers. So access specifiers, which are used to specify accessibility of our classes, variables, methods, and constructors. In Java, we have four access specifiers. Access specifiers. What are the four? First one is private, and the second one is public. Third one is protected. Protected, and fourth one is default. Default. Private meaning which are used to access by which are used to specify the accessibility of, which is used to specify the global accessibility, which is used to specify the uh, global accessibility of, which is used to specify the global accessibility of, global meaning everywhere we can use. This is public, this is the private, right? as the public, which is used to specify the global accessibility of our classes and variables, methods, and constructors. Constructors. Whenever we can take class as the public, and next one is we can take variable as public, and we can take constructor as public, and we can take methods as the public, methods as the public. This is all about the public. Next we have the private access specifiers. Private access specifiers generally, which are used to specify the local accessibility. Specify the local accessibility of classes or classes, and next variables, we can say methods, and we can say constructors. Next we cannot take class name as private, class name as private. Next point is we can take variable as public, variable as private. Next point is we can take constructor as private, and the next point is we can take method as private, we can take method as private. This is that rule number this is private. Next one is third one we have protected. Protected meaning which is you use the class member which is used to access the class members within the class, within the package, and the sub packages. Next one is fourth one, protected. Fourth one is default one. Default one meaning if you don't initialize default one meaning if you don't initialize if you don't mention any access specifier, then by default the JVM will allocate by default by default will allocate access specifier as the default. So with the help of default access specifier, we can access all class members within the package. So these are the few points you should be familiar with access specifier, guys. So you guys, can you refer this access specifiers one? So today assignments is you can go ahead and do the assignments on this area. So I hope this is clear for everyone. Anyone have any queries? Guys, any queries, anyone? Constructor chaining is constructor overloading is called constructor chain. Yes, please do the assignments on that area. And yeah, so generally in the constructor chaining, for example, you can assume there are multiple classes, and in that multiple classes, so there actually can inherit from one class properties to another class, and that we can call the constructors uh, from one class to another class. So that we can say constructor chaining, meaning parent class constructor we can call in the child class. That I would say that is called constructor chaining. That we see at the time of inheritance. Okay. So today, as of now, guys, please do the assignments on constructors and